Happy Monday. Hi, welcome. We're going to wait a little bit and see who pops in here. I am going to draw some cards or a card and share some wisdom, some magic. Oh, this is the card that wants to come. So the card for this week is the number 2 card, which is moving past duality. We love the number 2. It's all about balance and harmony in all the ways. You can see my light ring there. And it is inner trust. Trust your inner self. Trust your inner wisdom. Name of my business, Inner Wisdom Awakening. So learning how to trust ourselves at this next level, trusting your intuition, trusting your divine knowledge, trusting the directions, trusting when it's time to pause. Trust is part of the second step of the ascension process that goes into the connection phase in the 4 pillars that I see. And so this week you're being encouraged to trust yourself, trust your wisdom, trust your knowledge, trust the process, trust the steps, trust this journey of awakening, because it is such an intense journey. I feel like I'm going to pull one more card just to see what else wants to come from that. And when you trust, and when we come to is the number 6 card, which is shock of the new. So this is super potent too, because we're moving into a 6th year. So we come out of 2020 or move into 2022, moving into the 6th year and the shock of the new. So we have to trust the process, trust our wisdom. Notice how she's coming out of those like kind of muted shades, coming to light, coming to life, if you will. And what she's learning how to move into her inner trust of what is true, what is right, what is aligned, brings her into the shock and the awe of the new, and see how the sacred geometry is exploding through the throat, through the heart. It's like this cosmic ray of new light. This is where we're going. This is what gets us there. That is what is happening there. So I wanted to come today and welcome you all with so much love to your light, and a little bit of a download of information that came through today. And it's about the shadow. So it's seeming to be, you hear it all around, right? Doing my shadow work. It's a real catchphrase right now of the awakening world, because it's a lot of what we're doing. But what does it actually mean? Right? What does it mean? So I was in the deep exploration. What is all of this shadow work, shadow play? What does it actually mean? And so what Spirit is sharing is that it is the unaccepted or unrecognized or yet to be integrated expressions of self. I always was feeling like the shadow is the dark sides. Welcome. It's the dark side of soul, right? Like the shadows, the darker side, the one that doesn't want to play in the light. But in reality, what is coming through is that the shadow can be some of your greatest expression of light. It's a Carlian creation, apparently, by its origins of the shadow of the unconscious. And from that perspective, it was the pieces of you from childhood that were unrecognized, that it was unsafe to be in the expression of, that there wasn't space for that part of you to be expressed. So it got me to thinking and my own reflection, right? Like, because this is what we do as we transform, as we welcome the new earth, it all expresses through our own reflection, right? And it expresses back into the world because we're collectively moving through this birth experience. So it's not so much that it's the bad or the dark aspects of ourselves. It's the ones that have not yet been allowed or given permission to be in their full light and their full expression. So we know that sometimes, and what started all this was Spirit saying and the collective saying that, in some ways the light is so blinding. Your light is so blinding that it brings you into, it's hard to hold your eyes to the light of your own expression. It's so bright. Your light is so bright that it can be blinding. And so that is where the shadow comes from, right? This brightness of the light that is you creates this aura or this shadow of that has not yet stepped to the forefront to be seen fully in the light. So I know for me, the imprint of the shadow, as I'm playing in this way of it, is about being seen. It's about being heard. It's about stepping up and stepping in. And that shadow play, because in my imprint as a young person, it wasn't just that it was better to be seen and not heard. It was better to be not seen and not heard. It was better to be in the background, right? So I put those light parts of myself into a shadow, right? I just learned how to disappear. And then spirit comes through and says, but you're here to teach, you're here to show, you're here. And so the shadow work, if you will, for me, is giving myself that permission of that part of myself that wants to speak, that has the teaching, that lets the knowledge move through, to be safe, to come to the forefront, to no longer stand in the shadow, so that my purpose on planet Earth can be recognized. Do you relate? So as we're dancing through the shadows, perhaps that shadow is in fact part of your greatest light, part of your greatest opportunity, part of your service, part of your purpose on this planet. It's not always the dark, wounded pieces. It's in so many ways, it's your greatest expression that hadn't been given the opportunity to stand in the fullness of the light. So as you're playing through the shadows and as you're moving through this expression, this brings us to what's coming tomorrow. As we're in the cusp, we move through this Gemini full moon, right? Bringing that duality, those two parts of the whole of ourself, the twins of ourself, right? Standing in the mirror, bringing that shadow piece out to stand in the light with your fully accepted and expressed version of yourself. So tomorrow in the solstice, the longest night, we welcome the shadows to stand firm in their shadow, and then we welcome them to walk with us towards the light. That's what we're doing. And so we're going to walk the shadows of our own selves yet left unexpressed. We're going to walk them to the light. So that all of you, let's remember, third dimensionality keeps us in separation, segregation, separated, wounded, shadow. And in the fifth dimensional expression, which is where we're all heading in this new earth, it's to be fully expressed in your wholeness, bringing all of you to the table. And some of that shadow is, in fact, your greatest light. So join me tomorrow on the 12/21, the winter solstice, and let's walk this journey of illuminating the shadows into the light, to walk all of us home into our greatest expression so we may serve at our highest level. That's what we're doing. We're activating the codes. We're bringing in the consciousness. The Light Council will do a full body channel through me. And we're all going to experience it together. So the link is somewhere, wherever you're watching this. Join us tomorrow and let's lock arms with both our shadows and each other and walk home to the light. We're doing it. I am sending so much love to your light. Thank you for being here on planet Earth, doing all the things, becoming all that you are, all that you have ever been, and knowing that we're doing it together. Sending you love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.